Hi, ladies. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. It's wonderful talking to you both again.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
So, what's new with you, Dr. Shepard?
Not much. Just here, October Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and we just really want to put that message out there that early detection is key, and we want women to be empowered by their health and go starting at the age of 40 every year for a breast cancer screening exam.
We will give that the focus of the interview in a few minutes, but Cheryl, I have a couple questions for you first, if you don't mind.
Sure thing.
How are your boys?
First of all, they're awesome. Secondly, they're giant.
Eating you out of house and home?
Yes, it's incredible. Nobody told me. They grow and they eat a ton and they stink. Oh, they're awesome.
What's new with you?
I just put out an album a month ago. It's been really fun. It's been 3.5 years of love and joy and work and gratitude, bringing in all these artists to collaborate with me on this record. And now I'm in October, which we know what that is, Breast Cancer Awareness Month, although I do feel like every month for me is breast cancer awareness in the dialogue that I have with my female fan base. So we're obviously talking about being age 40 on up, being diligent about getting your mammogram once a year.
It's incredibly important to do. I'll go back to the breast cancer, I promise, and give that most of the interview. So why is this going to be your last album?
Well, I've had a really long love affair with albums. I grew up reading albums, reading the credits. I am at a point now with technology and seeing how it's really changed my business, that people cherry pick songs and they make their own playlists. They stream music. They don't actually buy full album projects. The idea of spending so much time and money and emotion in making a full artistic statement seems to be lost. So I love that this is my kind of farewell. It's sort of the summary of my entire creative life, with all these people who have been a part of my creative life being featured on the record. And now from this point forward, I probably will continue to make songs and just put them out.
Now, what is your process for writing a song?
Well, it happens all different ways. I generally go into the studio and I'll have an idea or something I want to write about, and I just kind of, approach it from the standpoint of a beginning, a middle, and an end. But it happens all different ways, and I think having two little boys at this moment in our humanity and all of the many concerns that they're faced with, it's an interesting time to be a singer-songwriter who's a mom. There are lots of things to write about.
Who are you listening to these days?
I'm listening to whoever my kids listen to on the radio, and that's everything from Billie Eilish to Post Malone to Thomas Rhett. I mean, it's the whole hodgepodge. I do try on the weekends to kind of sneak in some Beatles and the Rolling Stones, and some Van Morrison and stuff like that, some Stevie Wonder, just making sure that they get a pretty good variety of music in their ears.
Now, what are you watching?
What am I watching? Oh, well, if it's not on Cartoon Network, I probably don't see it. And by 9:30 at night, I'm out. So there's no Netflix in my life.
Oh, that's a shame. But you've always been more of an outdoor girl, it seems, anyway.
Yes, we try not to spend a lot of our lives in front of the screens.
What is it that you like to do for fun?
Wow, normal things. We have the luxury of traveling a lot, so being home for me is where the vacation is. That's the sweet spot. And we spend, like I said, we spend a lot of time outside. My kids are really into fishing. They are also into critters. We have 18 critters that live in our house.
What's the oddest one?
Well, we have a snake, and we have a bearded dragon, and we have a lot of fish, and we have eels. I mean, we have a lot of things. We have 3 longhorn cows and 6 horses, and we're just the home of. It's like Dr. Dolittle. The only thing we're lacking is a push me, pull you.
Well, as it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, can you please tell us about your journey with breast cancer?
Yes, I was diagnosed in 2006. I was 44 years old. I was the picture of great health. I was very athletic and always ate right and had a great outlook on life and had no family history. and there was no reason I should have had breast cancer, but I fell into the 1 in 8 women who are diagnosed every year. And my story is one of early detection, which is the message that I'm constantly pushing out into the universe, particularly to my female fan base of mothers, daughters, and grandmothers. And that's to be diligent from the age of 40 on of getting your mammogram, because it can be the difference not only between life and death, but between the kind of treatments that you have. And until there's a cure, the greatest weapon that we have is early detection. So, it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, but as far as I'm concerned, every month is Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Now, prior to your diagnosis, how much did you know about breast density?
Well, breast density is a new topic in the last 10 years. We didn't really discuss it when I was getting a mammogram. We only had the 2D mammography machine. Now we have 3D. Although we don't have a cure, technology is making great strides, and we're able to look at dense breasts, which a large population of women have, myself included, and be able to delineate between what looks like cancer, and be able to delineate that from just dense breast tissue. When I got my mammogram, they said, come back in 6 months. We see something weird, but we want to keep an eye on it. And you just wouldn't do that now. I mean, you have the luxury now, when you ask for a 3D exam, of knowing that they're able to see in a very acute level of what's going on in your breast, and that rules out a lot of false positives.
When were you deemed breast cancer free?
I think they give you the breast cancer free right at the 5-year mark. 1 year is great. 5 years is cured. So that's my story. And that is precisely why I encourage women who say, I'm too busy, I don't want to know, I've got too much going on, I'll get it next year. That is precisely the reason I say, look, it's an hour of your life. The advancements are catastrophic in technology. Even the smart curve makes the mammography experience less painful. So we need to mam up.
Dr. Shepherd, how many women have breast cancer?
The statistic is 1 in 8 women in their lifetime will be diagnosed with breast cancer. So, I share that statistic because I feel women might feel that there's a certain reason why some women may get breast cancer versus not. And you can hear from Sheryl's story exactly that she was healthy, she was working out, and she didn't expect that type of diagnosis, but yet here we are 13 years later from her being diagnosed with breast cancer. So, I want women to understand that we have the technology that can help screen for breast cancer. So if we can detect that early on, that is the best ticket, because we can do so many more things that can help preserve your life and longevity, rather than being a late diagnosis in which we have less tools to work with. And that's going to impact your life, and also your circle, your spouse, your kids, your family, your job, much more if you're a late diagnosis. So we really want women to start their screening at the age of 40 and get that every year, because we want to detect early.
Now, what should women be looking for?
As far as, signs and symptoms?
Yes.
So that's the thing is, breast cancer is not always going to appear with signs and symptoms, and that's the importance of doing breast self-exams at home in between every month. I always tell women, once a month you should be doing a breast self-exam in between getting those mammograms annually. Now, there are certain things that if you do have these signs and symptoms, we would want you to run to the doctor's office to let them know that you've had either some tenderness, some bleeding, sometimes nipple discharge can be the sign that there's some early breast cancer awareness there, or breast cancer symptoms there, but also a mass. So on that breast self-exam, if you feel a mass that has not been there before, we want you to go have someone have a look at that so they can tell you exactly what you need to do and possibly send you for imaging.
Sheryl, you've always been healthy. What led you to go to the doctor to get checked out?
I listened to the statistics that say at 40 you need to start getting a yearly mammogram. I had no family history, and one of the things that I also try to include in my message is that I was a person with no family history. If you have a family history, if you have a mother, a sister, an aunt who has had breast cancer, there is a possibility that genetically you're predisposed to having breast cancer. There's an 85% chance that you would be a candidate for having breast cancer. And now we have genetic testing called the BRCA test. And for women who are under the age of 30 who are not yet getting mammograms, as Dr. Shepard said, knowing the terrain of your breast and doing self-exams may reveal that you have a lump or something going on. And we are seeing women in their 30s and sometimes even in their 20s with breast cancer. It's unusual, but it does happen. So these are all things that allow us to be in the category of women who advocate for their health. And where there is knowledge, there is power. And where there's early detection, there's a better chance for cure. In fact, the cure rate at 5 years is basically 100% with early detection stage 1 cancer.
Dr. Shepard, tell me about the new study by Hologic.
Yeah, so Hologic has a wonderful technology that is 3D mammography. It's the Genius 3D mammography. And what that allows is it allows better dissection of the tissue when you are doing imaging, which allows radiologists to really focus on lesions or any masses they might see in breast tissue, and more specifically dense breast tissue, which typically is harder to image and harder to differentiate what might be just breast tissue versus a suspicious lesion. So with that enhanced technology, they're actually more prone to seeing 20 to 65% more invasive breast cancer lesions than you would see with your traditional 3D or 2D mammography. So it's really important for women to advocate for themselves, to find the Genius 3D mammography by going to the website genius3dnearme.com to find that resource in their area. It's offered in 50 states. And also with the one of the things that I hear from women is that they feel that because of this discomfort, they're not going to go get their mammogram. Now, the Genius exam also has the smart curve technology, which is going to decrease some of that pinching that women may complain of and the compression pain that they feel during that exam, and therefore making it more comfortable for them and giving them another reason to advocate for themselves and get that mammogram every year.
Cheryl, what advice do you have or words of wisdom do you have for people on surviving breast cancer?
Well, as I said, until we have a cure, early detection is our best weapon. And my message to women is we're all busy. It's an hour of your life, and it's maybe 15 minutes of discomfort, but that is nothing in comparison to the long spans of your life. So that's my message, and I'm constantly telling women to man up.
What's next for you both?
Lunch.
Is there anything either of you'd like to add?
No, I think, through both of our messages today, hopefully you can hear from someone who has experienced breast cancer, but also had that early detection, and from someone who sees women every day in the office. I hope that we can empower women through our message to get their breast cancer screening at the age of 40, but also tell their mother and their sister. For men who are listening, to encourage their wives and their daughters to get the testing that they need so that it doesn't affect their life and quality of life, but also the people in their lives.
We want you to go to Genius 3D Near Me, Genius
Yes.
3D Near Me, and tell your doctor you want 3D, you want the Genius exam.
And if it helps the most, because it goes through the dense breast tissue.
That's right.
All right. Well, thank you both very much. I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you.